Video 13. Kriya Yoga Pranayama breathing technique on the chakras. In the autobiography of a yogi, in his explanation on the process of using Kriya Yoga Pranayama breathing technique, Paramhansayogananda explains that the yogi, using the technique, directs his energy to revolve upward and downward around the 6 spinal centers. These spinal centers are commonly referred to as chakras. And the yogi, when he employs or when she employs the technique, when they inhale rigorously through the nostrils, they're directing this current of air upwards through the spinal passageway up towards the higher brain centers. And as they are channeling this flow, this current of air, they're acknowledging how it moves through each one of these spinal centers, these chakras. And again, as the current descends, the practitioner observes and notes how the current is passing through each one of these spinal centers. Now, some years ago, a lady by the name of Candace Perth published a book called The Molecules of Emotion. And interestingly, she explains how our emotions are a biochemical response which occur within the body. Each cell in our body has the capacity to receive proteins which in turn help to process an emotional response. She said that there's a greater accumulation of cells at specific points along the spine. So, in the book, she describes how an individual with an interest in the science of yoga came to her and wanted to see where she had identified these specific points along the spine. And it turned out that the points were corresponding to where we locate the 7 chakras, or the 6 points along the spine, and then the 7th, which is the crown chakra. But what's interesting is that as we are directing and channeling this current of air, we are allowing for the body to absorb oxygen into all the cells of the body with greater effect. And in this way, the body is saturated in oxygen and no part is deprived. And because we're channeling it up the spinal passageway and passing it through these specific points, we might think that we're helping to give these areas, which she considered to be vortexes, of where there was a high accumulation of cells, we are delivering oxygen to each of those, and in this way we're purifying them. Now, this is all just my own personal conclusion, but I find it interesting that when we look at the chakras and endeavoring to purify the subtle body through the practice of kriyayogapranayama, we can gain an appreciation for it in a manner which is conceptually easier for us. And that is that by using this technique, we are directing oxygen with greater effect to those specific points in the body which represent our emotional state and our emotional well-being. And in turn, we're allowing for the free flow of this current to the high brain centers, where we can be grounded in a state of peace and process states of refined conscious awareness.